Oh, hey guys, how's it going today? Thursday here on Vlogging Life, also known as a Fake Saturday, followed by Fake Saturday, followed by Real Saturday, followed by Sunday. Tonight is an interesting night. Tonight I'm going to meet up with my friend. Gonna call her that for now, unless things progress. And welcome to my vlog. Well, I just let Oreo out. He's back in now. Listen, you can tell. Oh, way. He's so noisy with his breathing and snorting and just straight up being a dog. Oh, man. Let's get a coffee going up in here. Little coffee. Get the party started. Did you hear that thing? Oh my goodness. I don't know, man. I got Oreo snorting and barking at me. I got the cat meowing and chirping at me. I'm telling you. It's, look at this. Who's kidding? Oh, in my ear. That was mean. She just meowed right in my ear. How loud that is? Cat meows like it's electric. Alright. I don't know what this kitty cat's problem is. I'm just gonna pet her. I'm just gonna pet her. She seems to like that. That's it. That's all she's getting. Ah, coffee. Oh, how I love thee. Coffee is so nice. Coffee is so nice. Put it in a cup, drink it up, wake up every night. Alright, coffee is done. Time to add the fixins. I was gonna bulletproof it, but then I decided, nah. Alrighty, coffee's made. Let's go see what's going on the web. I gotta get in an early workout tonight if I'm planning on having a workout. I might not even do a workout tonight. I've been busting my arse all week on the weights. Upping it by 10 pounds a day. So, because of tonight's thing, the date, whatever you want to call it, I might take it easy and just freshen up and make myself look pretty for tonight. Because then that seems more important. Alright. Let's see what's going on in the dubs. This event was supposed to start at 5. It's currently 12 after 5. This event hasn't started. Hey, you gonna focus there, Chief? Thanks, bud. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all my Americans once again. All the Americans watching this. Hopefully the Tums is strong this year because I hear you guys like to really eat and you have weird things like sweet potato pie, which I don't have the foggiest idea what that is. To me, I hear potatoes and pie together and right away I think of those chicken pot pies you can buy and those beef pot pies where they like chop up meat and they put it in a pie shell and put potatoes and carrots and all that other delicious stuff into it that I can't have anymore, which sucks. You know, all that stuff. That's what I think of right away. So I'm making another coffee. I gotta run outside real quick, grab my garbage can, and get it off the side of the road before some dummy comes flying down the road and decides to nail it. Go. Actually, I'm doing two things right now. I'm, well, the mail guy was actually nice enough to close my mailbox. What a trooper. It's about time they did their job. I guess they saw the video. But I'm grabbing my garbage can for two reasons. One, I want to get it off the side of the road. And two, I want to take the garbage from the kitchen, chuck it in here, so I can put a fresh bag in the kitchen. Because this can was full. So I'm just going to leave this right here for now and go get that garbage in the kitchen. Wish that dog would stop barking. He's so annoying. So, not sure if you got the news or not. Probably not, because a lot of you probably don't live in Ontario. But Uncle Dougie went and passed Bill 47. And what does that mean? That means my fears are coming to life. Paycheck's probably getting cut. So originally my battle plan for tomorrow was to take advantage of some Black Friday sales and upgrade my cell phone. Because there's a lot of good deals going on right now. Like the Big 3 has a good deal. And even the Sister 3 do too. But I don't want to waste money now. So I'm going to make my cell phone last as long as I possibly can. So luckily for me, my current rate of pay will remain the same. The only thing that'll change is come April when we re-sign the contracts. At that point, that's when we'll see how bad it is. So, apparently Bill 47 comes into effect January 1st, and it's after that that all hell breaks loose. But right now Uncle Dougie's losing a lot of support because he's cocking over the program big time. Like, to the point where you got federal government stepping in, Trudeau's stepping in because he's having issues with the way Uncle Dougie's performing. And you know, the one thing he's doing, like I mentioned, was getting rid of the French university and cutting funding to French, the Francophone, the French, for French education and all that in Ontario, which is kind of not cool. Also, there was talk of him refining once more the sex ed curriculum. Not sure what's going on with that. Whatever happens there, happens there. I know he's reforming the welfare system where, see, before on welfare, or Ontario Works as we call it, you had to prove that you were going out and looking for work. Now what they're going to start doing is kind of crazy. OW is going to look for work for you. So they're going to find you a job. And it's probably not going to be ideal. It's not going to be no heavy paying job, but you'll get subsidized by OW while you're working. Basically, they want to put bodies out there. Remember how I talked about Joe jobs and unskilled labor? Well, the people on OW could easily fit those Joe jobs at 14 bucks an hour. And then if they need extra income, OW then steps in and subsidizes. That's what they want to do to cut spending. Kind of makes sense. One thing they better not touch is ODSP, and that's the Ontario Disability Support Program. Basically, if you're deemed disabled temporarily or permanent, let's say you have some sort of an ailment that just prevents you from working, ODSP steps in and gives you a paycheck so you can actually survive and live. I want to say well, but it sucks right now what they give you. It's not very much. You can work while you're on ODSP, but they will help you find a job that'll fit your disability, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's not exactly the greatest pay. If they mess with that, that's cruel. Because, you know, I do understand some people cheat the system. Some people fraud the system. You know, you've probably seen Trailer Park Boys, Ray LaFleur. Oh, I gotta use this wheelchair all the time. Next scene, he's getting up and walking around fine. That's a joke on the show, but that actually happens in real life. We all know this. Some people deserve the funding, other people deserve fraudulent charges. But by hurting the ones that need the funding to get the ones that don't need the funding off, that's not a solution. That's just going to cause a lot more ripples. And I didn't realize it either. Apparently, when Uncle Dougie went and passed Bill 47, there were death threats sent to his office. Apparently his vehicle got trashed. A couple of the MPs got, yeah, just our MPPs. Their stuff got trashed and threats sent, and I was not aware of that. I just don't understand, like to me, this is how the economy works. Like, before, when I wasn't making as much as I'm making now, I was really, oh yeah, I bought a new vehicle, or whatever. I was gonna buy used, but it's just the monthly payments are cheaper on new. But anyway, getting back on target. If my car would have been fine and would have lasted, I would have driven my car. I wouldn't have bothered even looking for new. I didn't spend that much money back then. I basically kept it chill, kept it reserved, didn't go out and buy stuff, you know. When I got the raise, that's when I started spending more money, because now I had surplus cash coming in that I could use for things like buying a gaming monitor for the gaming rig, you know, buying different things, buying stuff for the truck, buying Bowflex. I mean, a lot of the stuff I bought was used off Kijiji, mind you. But, you know, even going to the store and just buying stuff. Going to Walmart and putting money back into the economy. I never did that before. I'd go buy groceries, but I'd be really cheap. I'd make 50 bucks last me like 2 weeks. Now I make it last me a month. Yeah. But no, it's like the way the economy works is if people have access cash to spend, they're going to buy things. They're going to put it back into stores. Stores are therefore going to have to restock their shelves, right? So that means that we need transport drivers to haul stuff from warehouses to the stores so they have stuff to put on their shelves. If people don't have money to spend, the shelves are no longer getting empty. Now these stores are paying an overhead to rent the building they're in, or just to pay the utilities to keep the building running, whatever the case may be if they own the building. If they can't afford to run their business because they have no business, that store shuts down. If that store shuts down, we no longer need the trucking company bringing the material or the merchandise to them to sell, so the trucking company shuts down. If the trucking company shuts down, that means there's nobody to haul the stuff from the warehouse to the store. Therefore, the manufacturing process shuts down. Do you see the ripple effect that can occur from one simple decision of, let's make people poorer, let's make things harder? You know, I might be overthinking it. I do that. I get it. But you know, the butterfly effect is a thing, and it doesn't have to affect the past to affect the future. The present can really ruin the future. I don't think Uncle Dougie realizes the problems that he's about to occur. And I know that Justin Trudeau, the Premier of Canada, or Prime Minister of Canada, sorry, he basically knows this. He's aware of it, and he realizes that the Labor Act of Canada needs to be refined, because the last time it was refined was in 1962. And that was back when you got a job and you held on to that thing until you retired. That's not the case anymore. You know, I dog on millennials a lot because, well, I work with 2 textbook definition millennials. I'm not saying you're all a bunch of slackers out there. There are some hard-working millennials who actually didn't have a life where their parents raised them and told them they're the best and they're special and they got trophies for losing and all that. But the 2 that I'm working with are trophy kids. They're the ones who are told that you can do no fault, life is going to be easy, you can do whatever you want as long as you want it, blah blah blah. So I tend to dog on millennials because of these 2 people. But one thing I read online that I kind of disagreed with was things that that a Gen X will have, which is me, that a millennial won't. And in a way, they dog on them and say because they're too lazy to have it. But I think it's kind of smart. Like, one of the things was a millennial will never buy a house. They can never settle on one spot. Well, think of my dilemma right now. I bought this house back when I worked at Ontario, right? Because in my mind, I was thinking like my dad, this is going to be the job I have. That's going to be my job until I retire. Because it was good money. I had a pension. I had benefits. It was easy work. And yeah, I guess I'm going to establish in North Bay. Let's buy a house. So I bought a house. Then I lost the job. What am I going to do? I lucked out finding this job. I just wish it paid as much as Ontario did. So the reason why millennials aren't buying houses is not because they're not motivated to or they just don't want to. It's because they know that jobs nowadays are revolving doors. You don't just get a career and go with it. Because that's not the case. You're going to work for multiple companies in your life. That's the way it is. There's always competition. You're always going to jump around from job to job to job to job. And sometimes that may require you to leave the geographical area you're in order to fulfill your job, your duties, your abilities, to actually put them to work for the greater good. You know what I mean? So this is the reason why millennials aren't buying houses and why they're renting apartments from slumlords. It's because they know that they're never going to have a place that's going to be a permanent home. They're always going to bounce around from apartment to apartment to apartment to apartment. Don't make anything familiar because next week it could change. That's the reason why they don't buy houses. The other thing they mentioned was millennials don't buy cars. They're not concerned with driving themselves around. Why bother when you have technology like Uber and taxi cabs and friends who probably have cars? Well, let's talk about that subject for a bit. Like, don't get me wrong. I love having my truck. I love having my cars. I like driving myself places. But is it really that much cheaper? Like, I don't know how much an Uber is, but to work and back it was 32 bucks. Okay. I do the math on my gas in the truck. It's not too bad. It's only an 8-minute commute for me to work. But let's say you live somewhere like Toronto where parking sucks. There's nowhere to park and you got to pay $10 to park some places. At least that's what it was when me and the ex went there for, we went down to Toronto. We went to we went to the zoo, and then we went to Medieval Times. We did some other stuff in Toronto too, just went checking things out, CN Tower and all that, because I'd never seen it, even though I lived in Ontario all my life. That was the first time ever seeing the tower and all that. So sure enough, downtown parking in Toronto, 10 bucks, expensive, and it's good for like 3-4 hours, I think. Some places are like all day parking, 10 bucks. But the lots are pretty full and the lots are pretty janky. Like, you might get out to your vehicle and it might be up on bricks and no tires, you know. So is it feasible to have a car when you got to pay $10 to park just because you want to go get groceries or whatever the case may be? Or you're going to work and you got to pay for parking. Like right now I pay for parking. I pay 50 bucks a month for my spot, which is actually really good, seeing how a lot of the lots downtown are about $80 to $120 a month. So I'm getting a really good deal. But like, if you think about it, the cost, like a lot of Toronto living, I talked to a lot of the IT guys in Toronto, you know, the ones that I actually can tolerate, and they take transit because parking is non-existent. To find a place to park is hard as hell. Their commute by car would be about 90 minutes. One guy told me 90 minutes. And I'm like, how the hell can it take you an hour and a half to get to work? And he's like, traffic's brutal, man. He's like, I just take the subway. And that's what a lot of people do in bigger cities. They'll take the subway or the city bus, because the buses have their own lanes in Toronto, apparently. It's just more convenient than owning a car. On top of that, they don't have to pay for car insurance. They don't have to worry about renewing their license every 5 years. They don't have to buy a new sticker for their car every year. They don't have to worry about the cost of gas going up because they're not paying for that. They don't have to worry about car payments. They don't have to worry about anything. All they do is when they want to go somewhere, they pick up their phone, fire up the Uber app, order an Uber, and then wait for the car to show up and go, hey, are you going to here? Cool, I'm getting in. And then get her done. In a small city like North Bay, owning a car obviously is a good idea because, like, honestly, I can get from one end of town to the other end of town in 15 minutes flat. When I worked at the call center, which was literally on the other end of town, it took me 15 minutes to commute to work. That's not too bad. Doing that by taxi, one way, would be a $25 trip with the price that these idiots charge in this town. So, like, if it cost me $16 to get from my house to work, which was, it's only an 8-minute ride, easily 30 bucks to get to the call center that I was working at. So that kind of sucks. So the reason why millennials don't own cars, I'm thinking, is because a lot of them live in big cities. A lot of them have the problems I mentioned, the parking and all that. Maybe they live in a condo that doesn't have vehicle parking. You know, there's probably a lot of those out there where it's like a loft apartment inside of a big building, but they don't have anywhere for vehicles to go, so it's like you got to park it on the street or park it elsewhere. So why bother? Just Uber. And Uber is so much more convenient than a taxi because you don't have to call anybody. You just click a button and you can actually watch the car roll in, which is pretty neat. So you know where your car is coming from, you know when it's going to be there. So if it's a day like today where it's minus 22 out and you don't feel like standing outside waiting for a taxi, you can just stare at your phone and go, oh, okay, it's going to be here in 5 minutes. Better go rock a piss and get ready, you know? So that's really good. But like, life has become more convenient than it was back when my parents were young. Back then, they didn't have the luxuries we have now, which is why now, and back then they had it easier, if you will say, than we have it now. Because when they got a job, they held that job until they retired. Not saying Dad had it easy because, you know, he worked in the mining industry and that's up and down more than the waves on the ocean. But I'm just saying, you know, there's not going to be a lot of people nowadays who can say, I got my first job at 18 and I held that sea sucker till I retired at 65. them are the days of the past, people. They don't exist anymore. And that's what sucks, and that's what's really annoying. Like, I know my days, I don't want to say they're numbered at my current job, but depending on what happens with this contract in April, like if they cut us down, I have a set number that I know I'm worth. And that's basically what I was getting paid in Ontario. They cut me down below that, then I'm gearing down on the performance and I'm gearing up on the job hunt, because I am not doing what I do now. Right now, guys, I get in there and I only have one speed, and that's go. I give her till I can't give her anymore, and then I give her some more. I push through the pain. I go all in because they're paying me well. If you pay your employees well, they're gonna feel good about being there. They're gonna do a good job. If you pay your employees piss, they're not gonna want to be there. They're gonna dog. They're gonna be bad, and you're gonna have poor performance. At least that's what my mind is. There's a lot of the techs in Toronto that are just dumb. But, you know, whatever. What I'm getting at is, you reward your employees will perform. You mistreat your employees, expect your business to dwindle, because that's what's going to happen. So I guess we got to wait till April to see. In a way, I got to side with millennials on not buying cars and houses. Like, my second biggest regret was getting this house. First biggest regret was being drunk that one night and letting the ex convince me that a dog is a good idea. So glad I'm off the liquor, boys. That's like, she knew too. Oh, Adam's drinking. Let's ask him a question that I want. Yes, and I'll convince him that it's a good idea. And then she did, and I said okay, and then now I got a barking freaking hamster in my house. Oh well. Anyway, I'm drinking my coffee. See, this is what I gotta put up with daily. Oreo's currently barking, and I doubt there's a reason for it. I doubt there's anybody at the door. Oreo's currently going off, and there's somebody at my door. Door-to-door salesman. I thought that was illegal in Ontario. I thought coming to your house and trying to sell you services was illegal. I could have sworn that was illegal. He's like trying to sell me cable internet. I currently have 1.5 gigabit fiber in the house. What do I want cable for? Cable is slower than molasses in the winter. Like, this guy, he's trying to push his way into the house. He's like, oh yeah, well, how about I come in and I'll tell you about all the deals. How much are you paying for your internet now? And I'm like, none ya. He's like, what? And I'm like, none ya. I should have, like, I should have grabbed the camera and filmed it. But I don't like doing that. I'm telling you, man, pushy people are idiots. The fact that he came to the house, I'm pretty sure is against the laws in Ontario. And I want to take a look at that now. And I'm right. Ontario bans door-to-door sales. There are some exceptions. So the law bans the practice. However, if you're dumb enough to let them in, then you're at fault. This guy was adamant about doing a speed test on my network, and there's no flipping way in hell I'm letting some stranger log into my Wi-Fi or tap into my Ethernet and go on my network, because for all I know they're just going to install a Trojan, kind of like those international Microsoft. Like, worst part is it's a known company, Cogeco, and they're sending door-to-door dicks around. And then I'm like, well, can't I just go on the web? He's like, who are you with right now for internet? And I'm like, I'm with Bell. Oh, you're with Bell. And are you happy with them? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, what makes you happy with them? I'm like, unlike Cogeco, they work. Because I had Cogeco before, guys. I had Cogeco cable when I first got this house. And it was up and down more than a hooker skirt on Saturday night. So it was garbage. And then I ended up switching to, and it was capped. Like, you could only use so much a month. And then you had to pay for overages. And with the ex watching that stupid Crunchyroll Japanese animation stuff, let's just say, I ended up paying a lot for internet back then. That's when I got the deal from Ontario for the DSL line that I was paying 10 bucks a month for, just so I could upload my YouTube videos without getting penalized on overages on the cable. But man, just ridiculous. Well, let me connect to your network, and oh yeah, well, we're offering this to Bell customers, and it's a great deal. I could save you $1,000 a year. $1,000 a year. Okay, maybe on the first year, because all these businesses do the same thing. They like sign you up and it's like, oh, it's $80 for the first year, and then going forward it's $200 every month after. And they lock you in for a 2-year contract. So you end up paying the same over the 2 years. They just get your money instead of the previous company. And since I've gotten the fiber op, when it was fiber op and then it became, or when it was Bell Alliant, then it became fiber op and then it became Five. Since I got that service, I've never had an outage here. If anything, the price keeps going down and the service keeps getting faster. Like, they just bumped me from gigabit to 1.5 gigabit at no extra cost. I got a call from them and they said, we're just calling to notify you. This is not a sales call. We're just calling to let you know that we're upping your service to 1.5 gigabits. And I'm like, okay, what's that going to cost me? And they're like, oh no, there's no cost. It's just, that's the new plan. 1.5 gigabits down, 900 megabits up. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, thanks. Like, do I need to do anything? And they're like, no, this is just an informational call. You have yourself a nice day. And I'm like, okay, bye. Like, every time they called me, like when I first started on the fiber, it was 50 megabits down, 30 up, and that was slick. That was fast. Pushing a YouTube video up, instead of taking about 2 hours to upload a video, it was taking about, 10 minutes, 30 minutes for the big ones. I was ecstatic about that. I'm like, wow, it's taking a lot less time to upload than it is to edit. This is cool. I was stoked. That's when I was doing Skaven Games and I was pushing so much content to the channel, and because it just took nothing to put it up there, and I was in love with it. And then they bumped it from 50/30 to 80/50, and then gigabit, and now 1.5 gigabit. Now in gigabit I was getting 1 gigabit down, 200 megabits up. Now I'm getting 1.5 down, 900 up. And like the speeds in that are just ridiculous, pushing stuff to YouTube now. It's like, that's why I upped the bit rate on Vegas. I was used to render at 4 megabits a second, and the videos look kind of grainy and the colors look kind of washed out and all that. Now I'm rendering at 32 megabits a second. Was 50 megabits with the old Sony, 32 with this, or 36 with this, sorry. Like 1-for-1, raw, keep it as sharp as possible, because YouTube, when they get their hands on it and run their algorithm to clean up the video, it just ruins it. But why would I switch back to a company that when I was with them would snowball me with like random things? Like when I was with Kojiko, right? Back in the day, the ex wanted cable TV because she wanted to watch Home and Garden when she didn't have a job and just sit on the couch and become one of them. One of those lazy people that do nothing but sit on the couch all day, don't go to work, don't contribute to society, and just watch Home and Garden and dream about one day owning a tiny little condo in Toronto that you can barely even breathe in. We had to get cable TV. Well, there was a deal. Oh, for an extra $40 a month, you can add it on. So somehow she managed to order it and add it on. Even though I don't recall putting her on the plan, but I must have, because she had the ability to do that. We literally used it for a year. It barely ever got used after she got a job. It literally sat there. I was paying too much for it. I said, that's it. Called the company, cut the ties, returned the cable box. They never got the cable box, tried to charge me for it. Finally, I tracked it down. I had to do all the legwork for that. I tracked down the tracking number, contacted them back and said, hey, you guys already signed for this damn thing. They're going off. I said, that's enough. I shut it down. I went to Ontario for cable because of no cap. It was slower service, but no cap, and it worked. And then I went to Bell, and it's like, I would never go back to Kojiko. With anything, with me buying my Ford truck, with Dell computers, for instance, a lot of people, they don't understand. For me, the product is one thing. The customer service is another. If you treat your customers right, if you produce a product, like right now I got a sour taste in my mouth from Dell, but not really, because I didn't pay anything for it. But that laptop, okay, there's still no driver support. That laptop is currently in the Black Friday flyer at Best Buy for $499, the Ryzen 2500U. So it's currently being sold again. The laptop hasn't had a video update since August. I feel bad for anybody who buys that paperweight, because if they think they're going to sit down and play some Fortnite on it, they got another thing coming. They think they're going to play some COD on it, they got another thing coming, because they haven't fixed the graphic problem on it. And I don't know what the hell AMD is doing. Like, they need to pull up or pile. I understand they're working on a lot of stuff right now with that 7nm architecture, and they're working on all their different Ryzen 3 stuff and all that. But like, you got products out there that need support, get after it, you know? Like, I'm sure you can take some coder off the sidelines and be like, hey, can you figure out why these drivers suck and make them stop sucking? Like, is that too much to ask? Apparently. Whatever. All I'm saying is this guy was way too pushy. From what I'm reading here, theoretically what he did was illegal. But if I would have let him into the house, I would have had no grounds to fight. I basically would have relinquished. Theoretically, I could call the cops and let them know that, because I didn't see a Kojiko van out there. Because he's like, what are you looking at? And I'm like, I'm looking for your vehicle. And he's like, oh, I'm door to door. I'm parked down the road. And I'm like, why are you parked down the road? Why wouldn't you drive your car closer? It's minus balls out right now. Like, figure it out. And he's like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going door to door and just, you know, offering services. And I'm like, but you guys got call centers for that. And I'm coming at him hard right now. I'm like, you guys got call centers for that. Normally you guys call, or you drop off a flyer or stuff like that. And they're like, well, have you seen the flyers? And I have like 3 of them on my washing machine downstairs. I'm like, yeah, I've seen them. I don't care. Like, I didn't give you guys a call for a reason, because I'm happy with my service. Well, sir, if you let me come in for 3 minutes, I can help you out and I can get you going. And I'm thinking, 3 minutes, yeah, that's about as long as it takes to get a Trojan on my network. Yeah, that's, no. No, how about no? Like, how about you do me a solid and like, he's like pushing with the typical, like, I rehearsed a script last night and I know it off the top of my hand nonsense, right? Like, he's really pushing to get in, and I'm really just like, go. And I'm thinking, like, right behind the door, I have a really big heavy stick that I can smash someone's skull in. And I'm like sitting there, and I just reached out for it to make sure it was in grips. If this guy pushes in, he's dying. Like, end of story. If he tries to breach the house, I'm putting that stick through him. End of story. But he finally went, okay, well, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta go. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because I'm not interested in your product, so, like, go. And he's like, but sir, and I'm like, listen, don't make me tell you another time. That's all I gotta say. Because I was getting upset, and he probably didn't want to fight, okay? He's trying to make some money or screw people over and scam people. I don't know. I don't know what his whole motive was. But when I say I'm not interested, I'm not interested. So do me a solid and go annoy someone else. So yeah, that, he was on my property. And I know there's no law in Ontario about if people break into your house, you can beat the living shit out of them. Actually, if people break into your house and you beat them up, they can actually charge you with assault. That's how pathetic Canada is. I know in the States, somebody breaches your property and you have a gun, you can end their life. You could blow away their body and you're cool because you were defending your homestead. It's not like that in Canada. It's kind of Sally up here, you know what I mean? But I'm sure Buddy didn't want to get hurt, because I would have punched him a couple times and that would have been fun. That would have been a good time. A really good time. Test out the new body, the new momentum gained. You know, just really hammer a goof. But can't go that route. But he finally got the idea. I guess when I grabbed the stick behind the door and then let it go and he heard it bang up against the door, I guess he realized that I'm getting mad and I'm probably going to hit him with something heavy. So maybe that's why he left. I don't know. But yeah, Ontario door-to-door sales are banned. So that's confirmed. Mainly this was put into place for those assholes going around trying to sell you furnaces, air conditioners, water heaters. You guys heard about my stories in the past of that. Yeah, that's why that was implemented. Anywho, it's about 6:30. I should probably consider start getting ready for the big date. It's not going to be a long night tonight. She's got to work at 8 in the morning. We're just literally meeting up so we can meet face to face and chat and stuff. And you know, we've been texting so much throughout the day, or throughout the days, that she just wants to meet face to face. I told her I'm not really looking to super jump into a relationship right this minute, but you know, if we can take it slow, that's cool. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm all about taking it slow. And I'm like, sweet. You know, because it's like, I never understood those guys. Like my one buddy, I mentioned him yesterday. He likes to go on that site, Plenty of Fish, and hook up with all sorts of different ladies. And he'll usually end up plowing them within the first like 2 dates. And I just never could do that. Like, I don't know if it's maybe I'm chemically wired wrong or something, but I can't get down and dirty and do the nasty with a girl that I just met. I need to be like 100% sure and like committed. I can't do that random hump and dump, you know, the friends with benefits, if you will. It just doesn't work for me. I'm not wired that way, and I can never understand how people will sit there. Like, my buddy used to talk to me about all of his victories, and I'm like, well, your victory, to me, it's like, yeah, dude, oh, I hooked up with this girl last night and we totally got it on, and oh, it was awesome. And like the next time I talked to him, yeah, we broke up. I don't even want to talk to her anymore. And it's like, well, that's what happens when you go straight to dessert. You don't want the potatoes, you know? But it's like, I can never do that, because in my mind, it's like, he'd break up. She thinks there's stuff there because of what happened. Maybe she's not on the same wavelength as him. And in his mind, he just wants to, you know, bag as many trophies as possible. Like, I don't completely know. But you hurt a lot of people when that happens. And that's not what I want to do. Or you get hurt when that happens. Let's say you find somebody great within 2 dates, you're in bed, you're plowing, and then all of a sudden she decides the next day, I think we should see other people, this isn't going to work out, which, you know, that's what my buddy always says to them. Now you're like, you thought, holy crap, like, I really like this girl, what am I going to do? Like, this sucks. So then you end up going into depression or some nonsense. Like, this is what you're doing to them. Is it fair? I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. That's why I'm like this. Like, I want to take it slow this time. Not saying with my ex, we, you know, jumped in balls deep, and like, we dated for a while before things got really serious for that. It was at least 3 months before any sort of physical stuff like that occurred, because I wasn't about ready just to, like, you know, throw down and hoe down. It had to be pretty, I don't know, like, committed, I guess, is the term. I just never understood the whole one night stand thing. Never understood the whole friends with benefits thing, because that's just emotional pain that you could potentially be causing to yourself or to the significant other, and I never really cared for that kind. So she's cool, she's on board with the whole taking it slow and that, and, you know, top of that, and I expected this. It is to be expected at my age. She has a child, so that also plays a factor. Not like a factor as in, oh no, she has a kid, I don't want to be with that, I've already made family, just had Skivens. No. The factor that it plays is kids are very impressionable. And I told her, I said, you know, unless like we're 100% certain that we're going to be a thing, I would prefer not to meet your child. And she agreed, because, you know, when kids see guys coming in and out of the house all the time, impressionable thing. You know, they tend to, well, the apple don't fall far from the tree, I should say. You know what I mean? It's the way she goes. Anyway, I gotta put a charge on this camera. Anyway, guys, I'm all cleaned up and ready to rock, so let's pitter patter and have at her, and I guess we'll head out for this date. I'm gonna leave you guys here because you still need a charge, and I'll talk more when I get home. This vlog is gonna be a long one. I don't feel like editing. Well, guys, tonight was a good night. Good night for sure. Went out on that date, met her in person, we chatted, it was a good time. Then I got rowdy at the coffee shop because, well, it's one of those wants to be Starbucks but not quite there hipsters setups. Look who I just woke up from a sleepy time. Was you sleeping? Do you have meows? Am I bugging you? Yeah, eh? I'm gonna pet the kitty. She's trying to do stuff and I'm petting her. She doesn't like this kind, does she? No. No. Oh, you're so fluffy. Oh, you're so fluffy. Who's your boo-boos? Bye. I love bugging her when she's trying to sleep. It's revenge. Anyway, So, like I said, it was getting rowdy at the coffee shop. And then she just all of a sudden blurts out, "Hey, want to go back to my place?" And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? So we ended up going back to her place. And keep in mind, she has to work at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow, which means she needs to be at work for 8 a.m. So we just basically went back to her place and talked. No funny business, guys, calm down. You should never bang on the first date unless you're a dirty bitch. But we just kind of hung out and chatted and got to know each other better. And then I looked down at the time and went, holy crap. And she's like, what? And I'm like, you don't want to know what time it is. She's like, why? I'm like, because it's like 11:15. And she's like, oh my God. I'm like, I know. And then like normally she goes to bed at 10. Some nights 9:30, depending on how beat she is. Coming in? No? Okay, well, whatever. So she basically said, all right, no problem. I'll head out. And I came home and we chatted for a bit over text message. And here I am. That's about all the deets I'm going to give you. We just chatted, hung out, got to know each other better. Like I said, guys, I'm taking this next one slow. There is no reason to rush into a relationship. You know, like, I've had some doozies in the past. I've told you guys about it. You've seen it. You know, my ex was one of them. Jules, we weren't really dating. We were just kind of hanging out, doing our own thing, having fun. Away she goes. But this one here, I don't want to rush into anything. I want to just go easy. Which I was kind of shocked when she said, you want to come back to my place? I was like, sure. Sounds like a plan. Oh crap, you know. But it was awesome. It was fun. I had a great time. I had actually a really good time. I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous at first. It's been a while since I've, you know, gotten up on that horse. You know, gotten up and dated someone or did a meetup for coffee and hang out with someone I've never physically met face to face. So it was definitely, last girl I dated was my ex. And that was back in like, I said 2004, but it's actually 2006. So it's been about, you know, 13 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever, somewhere around there. So it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute, right? So it was definitely something new to learn, and it was a good time. So we're probably gonna get together again some night, and will she ever be in the vlogs? Hard to say. Probably no, but that's okay. Because like I said, I'm not putting my whole life out there like I used to. Figured I would talk about this, because, you know, it's something. But I'm not gonna be whoring out my life for views anymore like I used to do back in the day, because that just causes problems. And remember when I said that there might not be a video every day? Well, like I say, the reason why I say that is because I want to start focusing more on myself and putting intimate deets like that out there. That's kind of nunya, right? It's kind of nunya. So on days when I don't have something to film because I'm spending it with her or spending it with someone else who is not comfortable with this whole YouTube lifestyle, then so be it. I know in the past I said if I ever find a girl that I want her to be comfortable with the camera, and, you know, I basically wanted a thing like kid behind a camera. But to be honest, it's like this YouTube thing is it's dying. It's, you know, there's other people doing better on YouTube, and vlog channels are just not doing that great. It's the way she goes. I've never ever wanted to do this here as a job. Never ever wanted to do this here as a business. Never ever considered this here as a income replacement system. I've always done it for fun. I knew one day it would come to an end. I'm not saying that day's coming up anytime soon. You know, you got to remember, I'm not a young pup anymore either. I'm going to be 40 in March, and there comes a time when you basically got to put down the Obama job and, you know, start focusing on life and doing good things, fun things. And like I say, if people aren't interested in the camera, people aren't interested in the camera. It's the way she goes. That might upset some people out there who are, you know, nosy Nancy's and they got to get involved in everybody else's deets. But it is what it is. So I know I'm on a quest for 100K subs. At the rate I'm going at, I should have it by 2072. And by then that silver play button will probably go through 17 revisions. I saw the one that Swift got, and it's not the same one that Jesse got and that everybody else got. It's completely different. Looks a hell of a lot cheaper. I mean, like, really a hell of a lot cheaper. Looks like they're really gone downhill on the quality on the old silver play button, if you ask me. But hey, it is what it is. But anyway, people, I'm going to shut her down here. I have no idea what's going on tomorrow. I know my friend is off early, and I think she has the weekend kid free this week. And if that's the case, I may get in touch with her and see if she wants to hang out or do something else.
maybe go for dinner and a movie or something. Just figure things out and go from there. Because I really like this one. And I want to get to know her better. So that's a thing. Anyway, people, on that note, I'm going to shut her down here. Call her quits for now. Tomorrow's another day. I'll pick up the camera, like I say. If it's a 5-minute video or a 50-minute video, a video is a video, and it is what it is. So thanks for watching. Like, favorite, comment. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, people, keep on vlogging.